Russo-Italiano sponsors Boxing Bros UK.
Hello, everybody. This is Boxing Bros UK. I am the boss, Chris. This is my co-host, Andrew, the Boxing Brain. The topic of the day is the big fight of the weekend on heavy impact. JOYCE versus Philip Hrgovic.
Gosh.
I'll take it away. So,
go for it, Chris.
I'd say first round was just a feel-out round, you know, nothing too major. Then I think Hrgovic is kind of like boxing well, and obviously JOYCE is fucking slow as molasses. So it was just too slow. It was just too slow. And he wasn't winning. He didn't win any rounds from round 1 to 4. I'd say Hrgovic took all 2, 3, and 4. The first round could have been even, could have gone either way. That was a swing round. Then round 5, we started landing. But Hrgovic started gassing again. There's something, that guy's not got good gas tank. And he's not got good gas tank and he's not got good power. If you haven't got the power, you need to have other things.
Oh, mate.
You need to have the speed. He was gassing, but fair play to him because JOYCE started coming on strong. He won a couple of rounds, then Hrgovic come back a bit after he probably had his second win. Then JOYCE come back into it again, and I had it dead even at round 8, dead even. And Hrgovic won the last 2 rounds. But he won because he dug deep. He dug deep, out of his gum shield, and he swung it out. He swung it out in the last 2 rounds. And fair play to him. But not be gassing. The shame is, he did well. He dug deep. But if you want to be a world champion, you can't be gassing in a 10-rounder and calling round 9 and 10 championship rounds. They're not championship rounds.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Because it was the 10-rounder.
You're gassing in round 5. You need to sort that out. And another thing about Hrgovic that I want to say is I don't believe he's got any power. Because
I was going to talk about this.
This is the second time when he's landed about 20 right hands on someone's jaw and they haven't even gone down once.
And JOYCE's jaw isn't what it used to be. That much is for certain.
JOYCE ate his jaw. And Dubois, but we don't know about Dubois because he's never been knocked down from a punch. He's always took a knee. He always takes a knee.
Yeah, Lorena, JOYCE,
No one's actually punched him and put him on his arse. He's decided to go down himself. So
good point.
So we don't know, but for me, on the eye test, especially with JOYCE, like your chin doesn't improve after you've been knocked out twice by Zhang and once by Chisora. It doesn't get better. So the fact that JOYCE is doing his same old style, this punch from my guard, I'm blocking, but I'll just give you enough space so you can fit a right hand through there.
It was a little bit tighter, wasn't it? But not by much. No, that's a good point you raised there, Chris, and a really good little synopsis there. I did similar. I didn't actually sit there. Sometimes I do when I watch these fights, and I got caught up in emotion of it because I do like Big Joe, and we've got some footage, haven't we? We got an interview about where he goes, but in terms of just the fight, and I said, and me and Chris said in the preview, look. Those, Hrgovic, he puts his shots together quite well. Those piston right hands. He's got a fair amount of speed in those hands, and it kind of went how I expected to. Although I actually thought JOYCE did a lot better than what I thought he was going to do. He seems. I swear he's getting slower. But you brought up something, right? Engine and power. He come in at 250.6. I know he was on relatively short notice, but you'd expect him to have a little bit more gas than that. He seems to come out quite quickly, Hrgovic, and then really start to struggle after that. But I think just clinging to the power bit for a moment with Hrgovic, like he was kind of billed, wasn't he, as being this big, powerful heavyweight, right? He's a big, strong guy. He's got a big, strong jaw and all the rest of it. I am beginning to wonder, Chris, whether this guy can't punch. I'm thinking, okay, Dubois, he was slapping out those right hands, like you say, in them first 5 rounds, like he could have missed. And Dubois, I'm thinking, fucking hell, Dubois The boy's chin's incredible. Maybe it is incredible. I don't know. Then this happened again. And I'm beginning to wonder now, actually, like, is this guy a little bit more, is he a bit more pillow-fisted than maybe what we thought, perhaps?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I do think so. Like, obviously, all heavyweights have power.
Of course, yeah.
But
relatively, we're talking in relative to other heavyweights.
Yeah. But as being a puncher, he is not. I think as well, he's not. He just doesn't have the power there. He just doesn't have the power. Because he's landing straight hands, but he's light on his feet. Maybe I don't know if he's actually sitting down and planting and bending his knees and following through. But he's still. When you're landing that many right hands on someone, you've got to put a dent in them. The judge is just walking through him, and so did Dubois, and so did Zhang. To be fair,
and considering Chisora can bang. Don't get me wrong, but considering Chisora sort of put Joyce on his arse, and look, you can catch someone with a good shot, and he did catch him with a good shot. But I think that is now, he's obviously got Abel Sanchez in his corner, who's a veteran of the game, and you kind of thinking he's talking at the end there, Hrgovic, about wanting to be a world champion. And I'm still not completely sure about the motivation either. I think he's a good boxer. I think he has got, decently fast hands. He's obviously got size. He's got reach. He's got a good chin. But those two attributes you mentioned there, the engine and the power, I don't know if that's maybe going to get him over. It depends how the landscape looks once all the big boys retire, your Furies, AJs and Usyks. But with Atoma coming through, Ajit Kabiel, I would massively fancy Kabiel against Hrgovic. But, he's tailor-made for Kabiel, Chris, Hrgovic. He went life and death with Zhilei Zhang, didn't he? As you said in a conversation with me, I think he was lucky to get the nod on that one. He's flattered to deceive Hrgovic. And look, I said in the preview, look, I just can't see a way Joe Joyce was winning, and I put a little bet on Joe Joyce because the odds were pretty good. But he did well in there, Joe Joyce, didn't he? He actually did better than what I expected.
Sure.
But what I've got to say, I've got to bring this up, that he's always been slow. He's never had that in his arsenal, right? He's always had, he's had decent power. I'm not sure. I don't know. We know about his chin. His engine for such a big guy is great. Okay, technically, his defence is a little bit sloppy. We know that. But bloody, I felt like I had to double check. I weren't watching it in slow motion. Like some of it, right? He had Hrgovic. Right, Hrgovic was just falling on the ropes a bit and was quite a lot getting in the corner and was just, I think, trying to recuperate. And I'm thinking, right, here we go. Put your hands together now, Joe. Right, stop popping off a double jam. And he's sort of, whoa, they're coming in like slow. Has he got slower? Am I imagining it? Or has he always been that slow?
He did look a little bit slower, and it's them winging.
Yeah.
Yeah. To generate more power, but if I was him, I'd just stick to the straight shots. I wouldn't throw any hooks ever because it's too slow. And he's got a strong jab. Yeah,
you're right. It's a trajectory issue as well, because obviously if you're throwing a straight right, you get straight down the pipe. It's obviously the path of entry is a lot quicker. Because if you're telling you're coming from here, you've got to go around the houses. It takes bloody 2 weeks for him to land.
If I was him, I would just go to the straight shots. If I was him as well, I'd use that cross guard so he don't get hit. Like, what George Foreman used to do, because he was slow. Yeah. He was slow. So you just do the cross guard like that.
Yeah.
It's a bit more. Yeah. If you're slow, that's why George Foreman did that cross guard in his comeback, because he knew he's not as fast as he was when he's younger. He didn't want to get hit with uppercuts all day long. And it is good if you're a bit slower to use the cross guard. And he's got a good lateral movement, Joe. I think he should watch a few Foreman tapes, maybe try and adopt a different guard, because this is not working. He doesn't know how to do it.
No, it's weird. And also, you making a big George Foreman, he used to throw sort of from here. You know, like arm shots. I mean, fucking hell, blood. If he'd have actually twisted into shots, God knows how devastating he would have been. But, you know, why isn't Joe just, you know, why isn't he? I mean, because he can sort of. Why doesn't he just do that? Just straighten everything up, keep it. But he was kind of getting Hrgovic up, and he's kind of then loaded up on sort of big swings to the gut and trying to. I don't know. It was sort of a little bit. Hrgovic could have been there for the taking.
Well, he was gassing. Joe was coming on strong, but it's just he was too slow. Too slow. And Hrgovic,
Yeah.
But like you say, I just don't think. Like Joe Joyce is Joe Joyce. We love him, but he's
Bless him.
And one last thing on Hrgovic before we look at Joe Joyce's interview, what he's going to do next. I don't think he's ever going to be a world champion. I've got to be honest. Like if you like Usyk, yeah, he hasn't got the power, yeah, but he's got the skills and he's got the engine, yeah. Hrgovic, he hasn't got the power. He's got some skills, he's got some speed, but he hasn't got the power and he hasn't got the engine. If you haven't got the power and the engine, when you're in them later rounds, you're going to get knocked out or stopped. Because you could be with someone like Chisora. I think he beat Chisora. I think they fought, but anyway. Oh no, that was Caballero actually.
Caballero, yeah.
Anyway, Hrgovic, I just can't see it. He just because he hasn't got the power and his gas tank, he just gasses.
I think he'd struggle against. I think he'd struggle to get someone like Gerald Miller out there because of his chin. He would struggle against Fabio Wardley. I think Fabio Wardley would detonate. I don't know. I think there's fighters out there. Ajit Caballel's tailor-made for him. Moses Atoma coming through. Look, I don't know. I'm kind of a bit on the fence. I mean, he's 32. He has flattered to deceive. He hasn't lived up to his potential. The David Haye thing probably hasn't done him a favour, is it? When David Haye had it, he's going to be the next heavyweight champion. My biggest issue with Hrgovic, like you said, I think that he's got decent skills. He's a decent technician. All right, the powers maybe to be debated now. I think my biggest issue with him is the motivation. I'm not sure he loves the game. I don't know if he loves the sport. Only he could tell me that if he was honest or not. I think his dad died. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if it was his dad or someone close to him. Maybe someone, if you don't know, Chris, someone maybe let us know in the comments. He had some personal tragedy, and since, I'm not using this as an excuse for him, since then he seems to have, because you can go two ways. Sometimes that can motivate you, but look like what happened with Mike Tyson with Customano, and sometimes it can go one way or the other. And I'm sure that's what happened. I should have double checked it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right there, yeah.
That probably hasn't helped, and maybe he just wants to earn a bit of money. Has he really? I know he said that in the ring. Has he genuinely got title aspirations? I don't know. What I'm basically saying with Hrgovic is, for me, he's got a question mark on his name. I don't know. I want to see.
Big
I want to see a bit more.
And you know what? What would be a great fight before we watch this Joyce interview? What's next? Moses Atoma and Hrgovic. Great fight. So you've got the young lion.
Fucking hell.
Challenging. It's coming up. And Hrgovic to prove that he can go for a world title, beat this prospect. I think that will do wonders for their careers, both of them.
Do you think Hrgovic would take it over that sort of high risk, low reward sort of thing? Yeah.
If you take it, like you say, because his heart's not here. So Frank Warren said, "Here's a big fucking check. You take it."
Yeah. Do you know what I'd like to see? I mean, I can see where you're going with that. I'd quite like to see Hrgovic in there with someone like a Martin Bacoli. I think that would be quite interesting, because I think a fit, ready Bacoli, I think would smash him up. I do.
Another thing, we've slagged him off a bit, but we're only telling the truth. Hrgovic's got a hell of a chin, though. He has got a hell of a chin.
Have you seen the size of his jaw, though, Chris? His jaw's out here. I've never seen. He's like Ken doll, isn't he? He's like bosh. I've never seen a jaw like. I tell you what, if his boxing career don't work out, he should get to Hollywood, mate. Yeah. Fucking that jawline's unbelievable.
Russian mafias. But and now, Joyce, he has an interview after the fight, and he lets us know what his plans are for the career.
Box Nation, wasn't it? Yeah.
Here we go, guys. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Carl Frampton had Hrgovic.
Oh, it's better on the laptop, Chris. Blimey.
I thought you won, so it wasn't clear, but no complaints about the scorecards either, Joe. Like, what's your assessment of it?
Yeah, I thought it was a close fight, and I was getting my success in there. I'll have to look it back, watch it back, because obviously being in there, you can see where the shots are successful or where he's landing and stuff. But it's all kind of a blur. But like when I watch it back properly, then I can see exactly, and then I could give a better opinion on it.
The points where I thought you were having really good success was when you were popping that jab out and pushing him back. But I felt like maybe it just wasn't enough of that from you. There was a bit of still from both of you, especially when you was on the road. But how would you assess your performance overall, Joe?
Yeah, I thought I boxed okay. I mean, obviously I can still improve. Like I thought, I was looking for shots and trying to pick shots and where I could have maybe gone twice, like two feet, doubled up a bit, but it was credit to him. He was like on the back foot, but he was still landing, so it was quite tricky in there.
There was a moment early on, I think it might have been after the first or second round, where you guys bumped after the bell, and then you kind of followed him back to his corner. What was that all about, Joe?
Yeah, I think it's just the momentum. I kept on going, like the juggernaut.
How would you assess his power? Obviously, he was landing.
Yeah.
Did they have any toll on you, effect on you?
No, I feel good. I feel fresh, pretty fresh. Like it was just like a tough spar, but yeah, credit to him.
It says a lot for Hrgovic's power, doesn't it? Feel like a tough spar.
I'll be back. I think people enjoyed the fight, and I enjoyed the fight actually. But it's unfortunate I didn't get the decision, and he's a tough man. So I was hitting him with big shots and trying to line him up, but I could have done more.
It's true
with the jab, and like obviously gone twice as well.
Actually,
the jab. I'll try and remind myself to talk about that.
You could have maybe stopped him if you'd landed a big clean shot. Did you feel like that could have come towards the end?
Yeah, I was looking for it a little bit towards the end there. I knew I was trying to put the shots together and try to line them up as I remember. But yeah, I have to watch it back.
Joe, I know you said you'll carry on and you'll kind of figure out with your team what you want to do next. But from people at ringside, people who care about you, it's just because the way you fight, especially, it's sometimes a tough one.
Good question.
I've always taken shots and you take one to give one back. Is there going to be any consideration to perhaps calling it a day? Because you've had a great career, Joe, amateur and professional. Why still carry on? What's the drive at this point, Joe?
I get paid. It's a job.
Good answer.
I enjoy my job. Like, it's like the flow of boxing. Like you have your fight, then you have a bit of time off, and you keep on training, and you go again. And I like training, and this is what I've been doing since I was little. Been in sport, doing 3 sports: swimming, martial arts, rugby, and progressed athletics. Did freaking cheerleading while in the States. I've done everything, but when I got into boxing late, and I've done well. I've been most decorated in the amateurs, turned pro, and I've been up the mountain twice, like WO interim as well. So it's just unfortunate I didn't. It wasn't my night tonight, but yeah, I can come again.
100%, you will carry on.
Yeah, why not? You want to see me again?
Yes.
Oh, bless him.
There is also an argument.
Oh, it's so lovely.
You've done so much. You've made plenty of money, I'm guessing, as well. And just to enjoy life. But listen, you're your own man. You do what you want. But I can see both arguments.
Yeah, and like the example of Zora, like when they were saying, he should finish.
It's IBF mandatory now.
Yeah, back in 2012. So it's true.
Yeah, he's made some good points.
So,
yeah, I just was writing a few. But I thought it was a really interesting interview, Chris. That.
His points that he's making, he's right. People was telling Derek Chisora in 2012, retire, you take too many beatings or whatever. And now 2025, he's IBF mandatory.
It's a really good point. Yeah.
Warren's magic scheming and manoeuvring behind the scenes, but it's a good point. And obviously, Joe Joyce isn't like he's not like a major selling guy. So he's not like a Fury or an AJ or a Jarrell.
Yeah.
Sponsors and money.
Why is that, do you think? Because it is. I think it's because did you notice something there? And I know he spoke about that in that interview, and I think there was a bit more. Maybe it was a separate one about the CTEs and all the rest of it. And he obviously is aware of what people talk about. And I'm not going to go down. I don't think we're going to go down that route. But in that interview, he seemed quite sort of with it, quite sharp with his own processing, quite quick. I've got a theory now. I think when the lights are on in press conferences, I think he gets a lot of anxiety, Chris. I think he gets really anxious. I don't think he's a natural. He's a very gifted sportsman. He's got degrees in art and stuff, would you believe? But he's an intelligent man. And I think he's just not the best at articulating himself. And I think when he gets stressed and anxious, I think all this CTE is a little bit premature, is where I'm going. Because he was talking fine there, absolutely fine. So sometimes, when he said, "Oh, well, do you want to see me again?" I thought, I just wanted to give him a cuddle. He's like a big teddy bear, isn't he? "Oh, do you want to see me again?" Like, oh.
Yeah, I want to see you again.
I'm conflicted because I really enjoyed the fight. I was surprised. I thought Joyce was just going to get his head pinged everywhere, and but he would never give up. And I thought it was going to be horrendous. But he made a good fist of it. I've never seen Joe Joyce in not an entertaining fight. I've never, not once have I seen him fight and gone, "Oh, that was a stinker." Other than maybe Cash Ali, that was a bit of a stinker.
That weren't his fault.
That's what Cash Ali's style is. Awful fighter. But so in that respect, and then in the sense that it's his career, it's his life, it's his livelihood, fantastic. But then at the same time, it's like sometimes watching him take the punishment he takes is a bit hard to watch, Chris. So I'm a bit on the fence about it, to be honest.
Next fights for Joe, I think he should take the Chisora route. Chisora was taking fights that he knows he can definitely win, a little bit below his level, and then step up slowly. I think maybe I think he should fight. He should try and get that fight with Dylan White that he didn't get. He should just try. Because
what do you think about? I know this is probably a little bit below his level, but where he's kind of at now. What do you think about the winner of Fisher and Allen versus Joe Joyce? What do you think about that?
Hell yeah! Do you know what? Absolutely great. That's a good point. That's a great fight. Yeah, that he can win. That Joe Joyce
and I think that sells tickets as well. I think that's those. If I was managing him, obviously I'm not. I'd be looking at that route. Right, you're still going to make good stadium. Not huge stadiums, but I think say you fight Johnny Fisher at the Copper Box, and he sells a lot of tickets there. Do good numbers on Sky and DAZN and whatever. I think that's where he needs to be looking at now. Don't worry about trying to get, like what you said about Chisora's ended up going on a bit of a streak, and look, he's ended up rising through the. Joe Joyce keeps getting in with HRGOVIC, and all these sorts of people, like Zhang when he didn't need to. And the other point, I know we talk about what next. We're saying about the jab. He destroyed Dubois and Parker just with that jab. Almost won it. Where was the jab on Saturday night? Did he leave it in the dressing room, or where was it? I don't know where.
In round 5 and a few of the others, that's the only time he was having success. He was ramming that jab in.
His jab's brilliant.
And then he was going on, and then he's throwing the hooks, and then that's when HRGOVIC was getting away.
I don't know what.
Like he did with Dubois. He just threw jabs all night. Just keep throwing jabs all right. And if you see an opportunity, throw a right hand to the body or to the face, to the jaw, and forget the hooks.
Yeah.
Forget the hooks, forget the uppercuts, because muscles ain't your fast twitch muscle fibers. He's mixed race. So he's probably got more of his father's.
The what? Yeah. Yes. No, but it's true. Yeah. No, it's true. No, because fast twitch. You're right. But that's why. That's why black guys obviously make such terrific sprinters because of the fast twitch. It's just yeah, it's a good point. Good point.
That's it from us, unless you've got anything to add.
No, I think good luck to Big Joe. Like him, whatever he chooses to do, good luck to him. Yeah. Like and sub, share the video, all of that good stuff.
Sweet.